Go get light and power. Them hustle sote, they can't get the power. But now they know they do anything with the power. Every day, dollar, just they get the higher power. Over naira. See them talk say, make we off mind. But thank God say, my ego don't come. So my people make you ladder. Oh, yo, yo, my ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My people make we shout. Oh, yo, yo, my ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My ego don't come, man of the masses. Oh, yo, yo, my ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. My ego die the political. Oh, yo, yo, my ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. This one not day off in mind. Oh, yo, yo, my ego don't come. Oh, yo, yo. Person where they do evil, no one make person talk. Them say that Mayegun, that man too they talk. He too they talk. Say Mayegun diary, he they hot like pepper. But every day then they take money in bulk. Woman picking, they the street they hawk. Still them talk say, make we no talk. But thank God say, Mayegun don't come. So my people make you laugh. Oh yo yo, Mayegun don't come. Oh yo yo, my people make you shout. Oh yo yo.
Hello there.
Mayegun la wa mo, la mo to do. Mayegun la wa mo, la mo to do. Ọ̀rẹ́ ara lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube.
Good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good morning to you from wherever you are joining me from. This is Mayegun Live. Thank you so much for joining me. Remember, read the caption of the broadcast, the description as well. Share it. Invite your friends and your not so friendly friends. Tell them that Mayegun today. Who is missing? But presently, they are telling the Nigerians that Kolu can rule Nigeria from anywhere. But where is anywhere? Mind you, this is going to be People's Parliament. So let me tell you about that. If this is your first time of joining us on the People's Parliament, okay, the first hour or nearly it, I will use that to get everybody in the mood, okay? That is you finding the sort of, encouragement to join us. So the People's Parliament is where you, the viewers, members of this temple of truth, okay, including those who don't agree with us. I'm talking about the Buharidins, Buhari Didirins, the Buhari Denotus, the Buhari Dijatus, the Buhari Shukus, the Ungoziaris, the Unnekaharis, the humbled slaves, the voluntary slaves, the sophisticated morons, and your uncles and aunties abroad, the Abroadian Buhari idiots, the Mumumadus, the Bele lecturers, and the rest of them, the Abroadian Buharidins, Buhari Didirins. Majority of them have now metamorphosed into a new, a new epidemic or pandemic, and that is the bat idiots, the bastards. It is an opportunity for you to join us, even if you are a die-hard Lagos Abobaku, Oshogbo Alimajiri, the crumb eaters, the crumb chasers, the ass lickers, the all-risers, the Agbadorians in general, Nobody is going to hold your hand. A lot of you have been mostly crickets. You call people keypad warriors, but majority of you are. You can say a lot of things with your keypad, right? Maybe you should put face to that, you know, to that profile. You can be part of the parliament too. Ask those who have been. If you have that much courage or much information, you can join us. Controversy will never end, and this fraudulent coastal highway is no exception. Now, Mutide. So, good morning to you, good afternoon to you, and good evening to you once again from wherever you are joining us from. It is the People's Parliament on the temple, in the Temple of Truth, and you are all welcome to join. There is a link in the comments. You can use that to join us. So if you want to join us to be part of this tonight, there are a few rules that you should have, you should know. One of them is that the rule of composure and appearance. Don't join this People's Parliament. Don't use that link if you are already on your bed, without clothing, in a dark room. Just watch the program, okay? Please don't join us without clothing on. And don't join us in a more awkward place that could be much like, So at least present yourself in a way that if you are to appear on your national TV, because this is like an international channel, appearance matters. Then composure, which means when you join, please mute your microphone until you are called. The moment you are called, you have everything. You don't even have to talk about what is being said here. Okay? You can pick your own, what you want to say. Use your slot. You will be addressed as a parliamentarian, which means you have 5 minutes to say everything that you have in your, you have in your mind there. Maybe extra 2 minutes if I ended up engaging you. Like, okay, you raise a point and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Oh, no, that you get an extra 2 minutes. So when I raise my hand like that, or I say the word, thank you very much. Remember this, please. When I say thank you very much or thank you so much, it's me telling you to round it up. You have less than 30 seconds then. That shouldn't be the time you are now going to remember something you wanted to say again. Oh, sorry, 1 minute. Sorry, Mayegu, 1 minute. Please don't do that. I would have to cut you off. So let's see how many people we can get on tonight. So, like I said, let me delve you into, get you into the whole program tonight. So thank you if you have shared this. The conversation surrounding the controversial news that the American as well as the French forces were negotiating, or government rather, they were negotiating with Nigeria and few other West African countries that they were planning to move their base or bases to. Like from Niger Republic, as these Francophone West African countries have rejected the presence of British and American forces on their soil. And as an independent countries, right? So this has been honored by America and France. So they need new place. So the question that, the news that then popped up in the last 48 hours was that the puppet master, the druggie, Kolu of Nigeria, the one that was ready and willing to wage war, lead Nigeria to war with Niger Republic, simply because they removed their own corrupt criminal government, as alleged, So it's none of Nigeria's business. And if it's going to be Nigeria's business, it shouldn't be anything of war. But Kolu was ready to move 15,000 Nigerian soldiers into Niger Republic, carry out an operation that was never really thought through without due process. But it was stopped along the line when its secret got exposed. So that's how far Tinubu was ready to go for France to help them topple a regime that just emerged that is against the interest of France. So why Nigeria? There are many international pacts, according to some observers, right? International pacts that actually prohibits that. But when you are being led by criminals, when you are being led by lawless people, where rule of law, due process is no longer anything, it's now like a luxury, a mirage in reality, doesn't exist. Okay, so you can't expect them not to bend anything, especially if it's going to give them validation. So a lot of people have been raising dust about this, and this has now forced them to come out and say they have no such plan. If I were you, I would never believe them until this conversation is completely out of the table, right? Anyway, there is few reactions I want to share with you, just like pointing into some other diplomatic, factors that makes it, in case if Tinubu and his gang, and that's what I suspect. You know me, they are not people you can trust. And when I have my suspicion, I've always been right. I'll tell you my own suspicion of what they would do. Of course, they won't call it military, US or military base. Tinubu and gang, they will even be willing to embark on building the base for them. And they will call it something like maybe joint. Listen to this, and it is still the same thing. It's like talking about Ruga, Capital Colony, and waterway bills. They are all the same to achieve the same objective. Okay? So, Tinubu and gang, who are con men, don't be surprised, okay, that they could come up with an idea that says Nigeria joint military operation, counter-terrorism operation, something. And they will now say America, France, and Nigeria, they are partnering, as if to say they are not partners now. They are partnering, and in order to solidify the plan, they will build a base wherever they want to build them in Nigeria. But just so you know what this really means, if that should happen, listen to this. Monitored on channels Politics Today with Sheung Okimbaloye. The credit is theirs. Channels News.
A lot of people who are watching us tonight will perhaps be wondering, why is the fear of a sighting of a military base in Nigeria? Just to give a clue onto what America defines as a military base. America defines, categorizes its bases into large or small bases. Now, what it means is that when America sites its military base in any region or any territory, it means that they will have boots on the ground. For their large bases, they will have military installations in a space larger than 4 hectares. That's about 10 acres of land, or worth more than $10 million US. And these bases typically have in excess of 200 US military personnel, boots on the ground, and almost 450 of all the US foreign bases are large bases. The smaller bases, which are sometimes called the lily pads, have smaller than 4 hectares. That's about less than 10 acres of land, and have less than $10 million US worth of military installations of resources. They also will include cooperation of security locations and operation of that site. And they have about 40% of their foreign bases are lily pads, smaller bases. That means that America will have its drones, its military operations, its boots on the ground in those bases. That is a typical. So you have a small American territory in that region. And we have almost 200,000 of such in about 80 countries. And America has almost 400,000 boots on the ground across the globe in their military bases. So for a clearer understanding of what America defines as military bases, perhaps that's a clue. But Prof, give us an understanding why is it dangerous for America to cite a military base? Because in your letter, you cited and you said that it is dangerous for our defense and internal security.
Absolutely, because we know within Nigeria itself, there has been a very high level of terrorism and violence ongoing in the Northeast, in the Northwest, in the North Central, and other parts of the country. We do know we've had a very difficult relationship in the last few months between us and some of our northern neighbors, Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso in particular. The third thing we know is that these three countries, when they sent the Westerners packing, have set up new deals with Russia. And Russian advisors and trainers are coming into their country. Now, when we leave our traditional foreign policy position, which since 1962 has been non-alignment, Nigeria since 1962 has always argued we are neither in the West nor in the East. We will pursue our national interest and we will relate with all the parties. That has been Nigeria's position. But from the moment you accept a foreign military base, you are no longer non-aligned. You are directly in one camp. So we are setting ourselves up for a battle with 1,600-kilometer border with Niger and Russian soldiers in Niger. Why are we bringing the Americans to fight a war that's not our war, but their own war? But I think there's a much larger issue of concern for some of us, which is that Nigerians are very proud of their sovereignty. We've always looked down at the Francophones, at countries who are controlled by their old colonial masters, and we've been proud of our own history. Well, we never allowed the United Kingdom to do that to us. Is it now, after 60 years of independence, that we'll now lose some of our sovereignty to a foreign power that's bringing nothing in return? Let me emphasize some of the recent knowledge we have acquired over this matter. When Niger asked the Americans to leave, they released the secret agreement between the United States and Niger. And in that agreement, it is stated in black and white, none of the foreign military boots coming to the ground would report to the Nigerian government, will be known to the Nigerian government. They will be taken straight from the airport to the base. All the equipment that are brought in cannot be inspected by the Nigerian government. No Nigerian government or military official is allowed to visit any of these bases to find out what they're doing. Therefore, they are giving these hundreds of soldiers they are bringing in and the base they are carving out total diplomatic status and protection from our laws. So we've seen in recent times in Japan, it's been an ongoing issue. An American soldier from the base goes out in a town, kills a woman, commits crimes, and the Japanese government has no right to prosecute. It has happened even recently in the United Kingdom when a woman from one of the bases hit and killed a cyclist. The British wanted to take the matter to court. The Americans said, "You've signed a deal with us. Your law does not apply to our personnel. We can do whatever we want and get away with it because we have this agreement." That is the type of agreement the United States have signed with all these countries with which where it has military bases. We as Nigerians are simply too proud and too sure of our own dignity.
But what about the kind of handshake and the kind of support and help that Nigeria?
Baba said Nigerians are very proud of their history. But he's right for all he said. Okay? American military bases all over the world is like America in your country. Your law does not apply to them and everything they do. Your government has no control. The moment they come in, that's it. Until you have disagreement and you have to ask them to leave. Okay? So he's right about that and all that. But like somebody said, talking about a foreign policy, like for real, what is Nigeria's foreign policy? That you can say Nigeria is different from the Francophone countries. So this is part of the Delulu life that majority of Nigerians were raised with. Oh, Nigerians are proud. Nigerians are rich. Oh, Nigerians are loud. And indeed, because they say Nigeria is the giant of Africa. These are just some delulu nonsense that they've put in our head for long. Nigeria is not independent. These guys could do whatever they want. Look at you. Do you know that Nigeria is considered as an Islamic country, as a member of Islamic organization of this world? And Nigerians were not asked if they want to be part of an Islamic organization. Nigerians were not asked. It was just made, and that's it. And there were people that they will kill people if you say they should remove Nigeria from it. But they are the, he said more, and I want you to listen, because this is not just like using every other sentiment and okay, but this is like some good information that you can still hold when you're having an argument or having a conversation around these subjects. It's important. As for Tiknumbu, I don't think these guys know who they are dealing with yet. You don't know yet, but you will find out. Well, listen.
Of the coming together of such eminent Nigerians and scholarly minded people and warning the Nigerian government, you must have seen something. What did you see?
First of all, we studied geopolitics, and we've been following closely recent transformations in the world geopolitical order. In particular, the transformations in West Africa with 4 countries organizing coup d'etat against democratic regimes, 3 of them changing their strategic partner relations from the West, US and France, to Russia, and the entry of the Russian military into the zone. Clearly, the hegemons that are the United States and France that have held sway in this region since colonial times are extremely upset. But not only are they extremely upset, they urgently need new places to redeploy troops that have been sent out of those countries. Just from Niger alone, you are talking of 1,500 French troops and 1,100 troops from the US. You are talking about the biggest zone station that the United States owns in the entire world was in Agadez in Niger, and now they've been told to pack up. This they use for the surveillance of the entire Sahel North African zone right up to the Middle East. So it's a major strategic blow that has happened to the Americans, and their immediate issue is to relocate these bases, these forces, and this equipment within the region. Of course, they've moved some of their forces to Chad, but they found Chad to be too far to the east as far as much of the central Sahel is concerned. And Nigeria, for them, is a strategic location, which has a 1,600 kilometer border with Niger Republic and is close to the other Sahelian countries. So this is the open source that we all know. But I think in addition to this open source, there have been indications of these discussions with the Gulf of Guinea countries. The current edition of Jeune Afrique, for example, has a detailed report about the agreements being negotiated between the United States and Cote d'Ivoire. 2 weeks ago, we got the reports from the Ghanaian parliament about the memos sent by the Ghanaian president about a base. And we also know that Nigeria has been approached by both countries on this matter. So there is clear evidence that these are the transformations happening in the world, at the world level, and that there are ongoing discussions, and Nigeria is a key target for them because of its strategic location in the region.
For a lot of
Now, somebody said, if the Fulani or a northerner is scared of something like this, that means it must be something good. So therefore, they won't believe whatever any Fulani speaking grammar. See, they have messed up with our heads, no doubt. And I don't think it's going to it's going to get cured in this generation. I understand, but there are still people that can do what is called critical thinking, okay? I know, like I said, they've messed up with our heads. Immediately you saw him on there, automatically he's a Fulani. And whatever he had to say doesn't matter to you. Okay. But for those who can still